Namaste, dear students of class 10. I am Tumpuri Shrivani from Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan's BHL, RC Hyderabad. Today I am in front of you to discuss a poem called Animals written by Walt Whitman. So here is the poem Animals written by Walt Whitman, and let us read few things about him. Children, Walt Whitman was an American poet, essayist, and a journalist. Whitman is among the most influential poets in the America, often called the father of free verse. So this is the most important thing you should remember, children, that his poetry doesn't have any particular rhyme scheme. Okay, it doesn't follow the tradition of rhyme scheme. Hence, his poems are usually a free verse. This is very important for you to remember. There is no rhyme scheme for this poem called Animals. Okay. He was very famous American poet. He was an essayist and he was a journalist, which we should remember promptly. Let us now quickly look at the theme of the poem, children. In the poem Animals, the poet Walt Whitman talks about the lost humanity in humans and admires animals for being better than humans. So the poet feels that human beings have lost humanity and says animals possess qualities like calmness, lack of greed, ability to stay calm, and are self-contained. So he lists out few qualities which are there or which are in the possession of animals to state that they are better than human beings. He also feels that humans have lost all these qualities. So, in his opinion, he feels that human beings have lost all these qualities, and he feels that it's better to go and live with animals rather than continue living with human beings. So, that is the main theme of this poem, Animals. So, let us quickly read the poem, children. I think I could turn and live with animals. They are so placid and self contained. I stand and look at them long and long. So here I is the poet, children. The poet says, I think I could turn and live with animals. Turn means to go. And he says that he could go and live with animals. Why? Why? Because they are so placid and self contained. The poet feels that the animals are calm and cool and they are self contained, means they are happy and content with whatever they have. I stand and look at them long and long. So, what does the poet do? The poet stands there and he admires those animals, right? He's looking at those animals long and long and admiring those qualities of being calm and self contained. So, here, children, the poet is comparing human life to that of animals, and he feels that animals' life is better than humans because animals do not have any expectations from life. So, he feels that the poet prefers to go and live with animals rather than continuing to live with human beings. So, let us continue, children. They do not sweat and whine about their condition. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. They do not make me sick discussing their duty to God. Not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. So, children, here the poet talks about certain reasons why he wants to go and live with animals. Okay, so he's listing out few reasons, or he talks about certain qualities in animals which are very attractive to the poet. He says, they do not sweat and whine about their condition. Here, they means animals. So, animals do not sweat. Do not sweat means they don't work very hard. They don't shed a lot of sweat and they do not whine. Whine means to cry, to feel sorry. All right. Whine about their conditions. So, unlike human beings, what do human beings do? They work very hard. Okay. They sweat a lot and they try to improve their condition. Okay. But eventually they end up crying that their condition is not good enough. But animals are not like that. They do not sweat or they do not whine. They do not lie awake in the dark and weep for their sins. So what do animals do, children? They do not lie awake in dark. That means, unlike human beings, what do? They sin. That is, they do certain wrongdoings and they weep for their sins. Weep means to cry. They cry in the dark for the sins they have committed. But animals are not like that. They sleep peacefully. But human beings do not sleep peacefully. They lie awake in dark and they weep for their sins. They do not make me sick, discussing their duty to God. So what do human beings do, children? We talk about our duty to God. That is, I have to pray. You tell others that I'll be fasting. Then you say that you have to pray at different times of the day. So like this, your duty to God also, you are going on discussing, because of which the poet says that it makes him feel sick. Okay. Then, not one is dissatisfied, not one is demented with the mania of owning things. So here, not a single animal is dissatisfied. That means all the animals are satisfied with their lives. Not one is demented. Demented means to be forgetful. They are not forgetful because of what? Because of the mania. Mania means the madness of owning things. That is the materialistic part of human beings. Human beings want more and more. If you have, imagine children, one mobile phone, you're not happy with it. You want more. All right. Maybe you want a car. If you own a car, you want a house. If you own a house, you want something else. So what human beings are? Human beings are very materialistic. And that is the reason they are always dissatisfied. They are not happy with their condition. But animals are not like that. They are satisfied with what little they have and they are content with their life. So here in these lines, the poet talks about few reasons which are in the possession of animals. Not one kneels to another, nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So they show their relations to me and I accept them. They bring me tokens of myself, they evince them plainly in their possession. So children, in this stanza, the poet says, not one kneels to another. That is, not one animal is kneeling in front of another animal. Kneeling means to bend, to pray, right? In human beings, children, we kneel in front of the powerful, we kneel in front of the rich, but animals are not like that. Nor to his kind that lived thousands of years ago. What do human beings do? We kneel in front of the ancestors who lived thousands of years ago. But animals are not like that. What do human beings do? We keep their photographs. Okay, we keep the photographs of our ancestors and we pray to them. But animals do not do that. Not one is respectable or unhappy over the whole earth. So here, all the animals are happy with whatever they have. They are happy with it. Not a single animal is respectable. They do not categorize animals as respectable animals and not respectable animals, right? All are equal, but human beings are not like that. We have categories of respectable people and not respectable people, unfortunately, right? So they show their relations to me and I accept them. So relations are nothing but the qualities, right? These animals show their qualities to the poet and he says that I accept this. They bring me tokens of myself, they evince. Now, this sentence is very, very important, children. Please pay attention. They bring me tokens. Tokens are nothing but the virtues which the animals possess, the qualities which that animals possess. What are these tokens? The tokens of are nothing but the kindness, innocence, absence of greed, honesty, self-contained, happiness, non-complaining. All these are tokens or the qualities of the humans. They evince. They evince. Evince means they show. They are showing these qualities and they are in the possession of the animals, right? Then the poet says, I wonder where they got those tokens. Now the poet is wondering from where they got all these virtues, okay? From where they got all these qualities, okay? So animals have got all the virtues and human beings have all the vices. Vices means negative qualities are with human beings and virtues are with Animals, from where did they get those tokens? Did I pass that way huge times ago and negligently dropped them? So the poet says, was I walking along the way? Was I walking here for a long time that I negligently means carelessly, did I drop all these qualities away? So children, here the poet is talking about animals who are much better than human beings. He actually compares the life of animals and humans, and he feels that it's better to go and live with animals because they are in possession of all the virtues, and human beings are left only with vices. He feels that we have negligently dropped all the virtues which are taken over by all the animals, and they have better lives than us. That's how the poet sums up the poem, children. He actually draws a comparative study between the life of animals and human beings. He states that human beings are very negligent, that is, they are very careless about their things. Hence, they have lost all their virtues and have ended up with vices in their lives. So that is the poem. Now let us quickly look into the literary devices. Here, children, the first literary device you should remember is assonance, because there is repetition of vowel sounds. That is, I think, I live. So the vowel sounds are repeated, hence the figure of speech is assonance. There is repetition of the word long, long and long, he says. Hence the figure of speech is repetition. Then you have anaphora. Anaphora is nothing but when in 2-3 lines the same word is repeated, then it is called as anaphora, right? In 2-3 consecutive lines, I word is repeated, hence the figure of speech is anaphora. Then you have metaphors, that is sweat and wine is referring to cries and complaints of human beings. Not only that, the inner qualities of human beings are referred to as tokens, right? So these are metaphors. So we have figures of speech, that is assonance, anaphora, metaphors. Assonance is nothing but repetition of vowel sounds. Anaphora is nothing but it is the repetition of the same word in the consecutive lines. Then you have metaphors, that is sweat and wine, which implicates crying and complaining. And also the inner qualities of human beings are referred to as tokens, right? Not only that, children, you should also remember that it is a free verse, that is, there are no rhyming words in it. There is a free verse, right? Let us look into the poem. You can see there is free verse. You cannot find any kind of rhyming words here. Okay. With this, we have come to an end of this poem, children. I hope you have understood it clearly. I'm ending the session, children. Thank you. Thanks a lot.